¿Qué pasa, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Happy holidays, happy Christmas Eve, everybody out there. Hopefully y'all are having a good day today. Hope y'all get exactly what you want for Christmas, or you did get what you wanted for Christmas. So if you guys are enjoying your holidays and do enjoy today's video, show off that holiday support, hit that like button down below and answer the common question of the day, because this match was actually a very good, close, and pretty awesome battle. I'm using a team that was based around Mega Houndoom because I was like, I want to use some more fun stuff. I know I mentioned this before in previous battles, and I was like, hey, I want to use Mega Houndoom. So yeah, got this pretty awesome Mega Houndoom team going up against Toys of War off of my Discord. And actually, speaking of Mega Houndoom, if I'm able to weaken the Alolan Muck, which most likely is going to be assault vested, then Houndoom actually puts in a whole lot of work in this battle, which is going to be pretty awesome because he doesn't really have a safe switch into its dual stabs. However, those sticky webs from Ribombee could be very annoying, and then depending on what variant of Greninja that is will determine on if it's a threat or not. So he actually ends up leading off with his own Mega, which is Mega Bayonet, another Mega you don't ever see in the OU tier. So it's kind of cool that we're both using non-common OU Megas, or just Megas in general that you don't see too much in OU. And this is not your typical like Choice Specs Tapu Koko, so I don't want to stay in and get potentially Will-O-Wisp. There was also the chance that maybe he was going to try and go straight for the Destiny Bond. So I decided that a good middle ground switch in here was going to be my Toxapex, because if he did burn me, it's honestly not going to be that bothersome because I do have Regenerator. I would much rather my Toxapex get burned or knocked off instead of my Ferrothorn in the back, because again, Regenerator is just so good, man. Toxapex, an absurdly good mon right now in the OU tier still. So I'm going to decide just to go for the Skull. This covered him switching into basically anything. Honestly, he doesn't have too many good switch-ins to Skull. It's whatever comes in to take the damage, then gets potentially burned, and then that's just extra chip damage I'm able to get off on them. As I make a very odd switch in here to my Ferrothorn against the Magnezone. I know this seems really weird, but I honestly thought that he was going to try and go for either the Flash Cannon or the Volt Switch. There was no reason for him to go straight for the Hidden Power Fire here. Honestly, I mainly expected Volt Switch because I thought that he might expect me to bring in my Latios or stay in with Toxapex. And he actually ended up going for the Flash Cannon, but he hard switches out here, which is really nice because there's a chance that maybe he is actually a choiced Magnezone, but I don't know that currently right now. Although, I guess there's also a possibility that he doesn't have the Hidden Power Fire, which is why he switched out. Either way, though, I do expect him to switch out this turn, and I will be able to go ahead and get up my Leech Seed on whatever comes in. And even if he did stay in and reveal to have the Hidden Power Fire, I could still recover damage off with the Leech Seed. So I really felt like there was no drawback in Leech Seeding here. As I catch the incoming Landers, I will be able to then get up a layer of Spikes as he gets up his Stealth Rocks. Rocks aren't entirely too annoying to this team, so I'm really not concerned about him getting them up here. As I make yet another questionable play here, and I do predict him to switch out, but my thought was that he's not going to risk bringing in Magnezone on my Ferrothorn when he can safely bring in the Muck or bring in the Bayonet, because I felt that him switching into Magnezone was entirely too obvious and that I could have easily pulled a double switch here. Although at the same time though, because it is defensive Landorus, he probably has the U-turn. So in hindsight, this was just a really bad play on my part because now I'm trapped in here against this Magnezone, and unfortunately I will not be able to 1v1 this Magnezone. However though, I will put him extremely low, which is really nice, but having Ferrothorn in this match for, if anything, just the Greninja would have been really good. And I might have also been able to keep it for the Ribombee, which could possibly be Quiver Dance at this point because he didn't lead off with it to try to get up Sticky Web. So yeah, me losing Ferrothorn there because of just not fully thinking out my turn really is going to kind of be a pain in this match. As I bring in my Tapu Koko here, I am going to be able to easily revenge kill this Magnezone, which turned out to be Choice Scarf, so that was actually kind of cool. I don't think I've seen a Scarf Magnezone in a while. But another set that some of you guys may have not seen in a while is Wild Charge Z-Move Tapu Koko, because typically Tapu Koko or Choice Specs like Specs Koko has been running rampant in OU from what I've seen lately, but this is a bit of an older set. I am Z Wild Charge, so I'm gonna hit this Alolan Muck on the physical side as opposed to the special side, and this is electric terrain boosted, and this muck is going to get obliterated. And this is excellent for my Latios in the back, because even though, yeah, he does have Ribombee and Greninja, with the proper predictions, Latios can just come in and get a KO every time, or just severely pressure his team. So that's going to be excellent for me. As in comes the Bayonet, much like turn 1. I don't want to get Will-O-Wisp because I still have a lot of use for my Coco in this match, so I'm going to decide to switch back into my Toxapex here, as it reveals to have the Destiny Bond. So this is going to be some nice information, because now I can play around it later in the battle, and I'm just going to go straight for a Toxic here. Honestly, not expecting him to go for Taunt, because if I did go for the Scald and I got the burn on his Mega Bayonet, then that would have essentially crippled it, and it wouldn't have been as useful to him in this match. So I really felt like Toxicing here was just a nice safe play. As I catch the incoming Ribombee, I don't mind if this thing starts quiver dancing, because I do actually have the haze on this Toxapex, but he ends up getting the sticky webs up, and that is actually a little bit annoying, because at this point I didn't think he had webs. I thought he was just going to be like quiver dance setup or something like that, but now he gets up his webs and he does have rocks up. Webs are a little bit annoying because that hinders the usefulness of Mega Houndoom, which with his Alolan Mud gone, Houndoom just came in and got a KO with its dual stab potentially, or I would have been doing a whole lot of damage to that Greninja on the switch-in. So at least I'm able to beat Ribombee 1v1, as in comes the Landorus here. Unfortunately, I do not want to take an Earthquake. Actually, at this range of HP, an Earthquake does end up knocking me out, so I'm going to be forced to switch out here and gain back HP thanks to my Regenerator, which is really nice and will definitely help me in the long run of this game. Actually, I can live one Earthquake from non-offensive Landorus after Rocks if I'm at full HP and I switch into Rock, so that could possibly come into play later in the match, as he makes an excellent play here, knows I'm not going to stay and risk my Toxapex, and he's going to decide to go for the U-turn into his Greninja. I don't know what kind of set this Greninja is, and I'm honestly just hoping he does not have the extra sensory. However, though, this Toxapex actually does have the, I believe it's the Payapa Berry that weakens Psychic type moves. So if a scenario came down to it, I could actually tank one extra sensory, then either go for the Scald or go for the Toxic, and then go from there. But he ends up just going for the safe Ice Beam here, and I'm gonna stay in here, risking him possibly having the extra sensory, because again, I do have the berry, so I don't lose much in just going straight for the Toxic here, as he then reveals to have the Spikes. So at this point, he has Stealth Rocks up, he has Webs up, and he's got a layer of Spikes up, all on my side of the field, and that's really not good. Even though if I do defog here with my Latios, yeah, I get rid of the one layer of Spike that I got up on his side of the field, but getting rid of that Spike is fine, because getting rid of all the entry hazards he set up on my side of the field is going to be way better for me, because I cannot have all these hazards up on my side of the field, because it's going to be limiting on how aggressively I can play and how defensively I can play. So I do Toxic here again, expecting him to switch out into the Bayonet, mostly because I didn't think he would risk bringing in Landorus on a potential Scald, but Toxicing this Landorus is still going to be really nice. As I make an aggressive play here, expect him to go for the U-turn thinking that I would switch out, or he could have easily gone for the Hidden Power Ice, expecting me to bring in my Landorus there. And then that way, I could have got off a Scald on the Landorus if he did predict me to bring in my Landorus and went for the Hidden Power Ice there. But he just U-turns into his Greninja, which is fine, because I'm slowly but surely wearing this thing down. And then I make a very, very bad play here. Honestly, I should have made this play earlier in the match instead of making it now, because Latios honestly could have switched safely into the Landorus, and even if he had gone for the U-turn, because I'm Scarfed, I would have guaranteed outspeeding the Bayonet and outspeeding the Greninja here. Although if he brought in Mega Bayonet, he might have been able to go for the taunt if he had it. So I guess it wasn't too bad in the long run that it didn't bring Latios in sooner, but it was really bad for me to have brought it in this current moment, because part of me thought that he would go for another layer of Spikes just to try to get up all his hazards. But I get caught with the Dark Pulse, and now I lose my Defogger, which means all of his hazards are here to stay. And then I'm going to try to bring in my Coco here in hopes that maybe I could live any one hit, and then in return revenge kill the Greninja. But no, I get absolutely blown back. by a Hydro Pump. I guess the good thing is that because of the Toxic I got off on this Greninja, it goes down. So this Greninja was able to just get rid of 2 very huge offensive threats that I have, and even though I am up 3-2, he does still have a good chance to win this battle. So on the double down, we both end up bringing in our Landorus here, and I'm honestly just gonna go straight for the Hidden Power Ice. I felt like I really lost nothing in going for the safe, aggressive play here, attacking what was directly in front of me, as he ended up going for the Stealth Rocks, and he told me that he thought that I was gonna go for the Defog, but he did not know that I only had Defog on my Latios. So getting off this damage on Landers there is absolutely huge, because now I can 2-hit KO him, and that means that his last mon is going to be the Bayonet, which my Houndoom should be able to, in hopes, take on 1v1, but he does end up switching out this turn into the Bayonet, which is perfectly fine by me, because it's still switching into that layer of spikes that I have up, and it's also going to be taking that chip damage from the Hidden Power Ice. So I'm going to go ahead and just sack off my Houndoom here. Unfortunately, because I lost my Defogger, these webs are still up, so Houndoom honestly wasn't going to be doing anything in this battle. And the great thing about it was that if I had been able to defog, Houndoom would have been able to beat the Bayonet and beat the Landorus, so that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, just that giant misplay with my Latios really ends up costing me my Mega Houndoom in this match here. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve and just do whatever. I honestly thought that I could maybe outspeed him after the webs, but I'm guessing this is just like a super fast Mega Bayonet, so he's able to knock me out there, gets a crit, doesn't matter whatsoever, as I can bring in my Landorus here. And the reason why I brought in Landorus as opposed to Toxapex was because I wanted to get off the Intimidate on this Mega Bayonet, so I could then safely pivot in to my Toxapex. Because if my Toxapex is able to beat his Bayonet 1v1, at this point we know that my Landorus is faster than his Landorus. So that means I would be able to outspeed his Landorus and knock him out with the Hidden Power Ice. So I do try to bring in my Toxapex here on his Mega Bayonet, but he does pull a double switch into his Landorus, and this is a little bit bad because after a layer of spikes and Stealth Rocks damage, even though I was at full HP, this non-offensive Earthquake from Landorus actually has a chance to knock me out with the EV spread that I'm running. So I cannot risk that, because if I lose Toxapex, then I lose this battle to the Mega Bayonet. So I have to make the obvious switch here into my Landorus. Thankfully though, he does just end up going for the Earthquake, and even if he had predicted that and possibly gone for the Hidden Power Ice, which he might have still had, because he's shown U-turn, Earthquake, and Stealth Rocks. I still don't know what his final move is, so he could have gone for the Hidden Power Ice there and caught my Landorus, but he wouldn't have been able to knock me out, and then because I'm faster than him, I would have been able to knock him out the following turn, or I would have got off more chip damage on the incoming Mega Bayonet if he did want to try to switch into that. So I do get him my rocks here, because if he wants to play this pivot game where he's switching in and out, I want to ensure that I can get off as much damage on that Landorus and the Bayonet as possible. So I really didn't feel like getting up late game rocks there was too bad on my end, as he ends up bringing in the Mega Bayonet here. I'm going to switch directly back into my Toxapex. There's nothing that this Mega Bayonet should be able to do to my Toxapex. And the great thing about this match right here now is that he actually has nothing that is going to appreciate switching in the Skull. Landorus is extremely low and is going to get knocked out on the switching. And then Bayonet here, even though it is able to live, he will be able to take me down with him. But because it's going to be coming down to his Landorus against my Landorus, which again, my Landorus is faster, then even though this Bayonet does end up taking down my Toxapex with him, I will still be able to ultimately outspeed and knock out his Landorus with a Hidden Power Ice. So on the double down, we both bring in our last mons here, and I will be able to outspeed and finish off this Landorus with one final Hidden Power Ice, and that is going to be the very narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. I don't know if you guys noticed there, but like my voice started kind of going away. I think I'm getting sick, man. I really hope I'm not getting sick around Christmas. So yeah, a very just lengthy back and forth battle, man. This honestly was a lot of fun though. I really wish that Mega Houndoom had done a lot more in this game. Unfortunately, I just kind of had to sack it off there. But yeah, the biggest misplay I think I did was switching directly into the Greninja with my Latios, thinking that he would go for a Lair of Spikes when there was really no drawback in him just going straight for a Dark Pulse. Although he could have also potentially had the extra sensory. Either way though, was still a very, very fun, close battle. Again guys, happy holidays, happy Christmas Eve. Hit that like button down below and that's the comment question of the day. I'm gonna go take some medicine so I don't get sick. So later everybody, thank you all for watching.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks,